Who knows? Okay, are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Computer's not happy today, so if we are live, I'm not seeing it right now. It's taking longer than normal of being live. And yeah, right now, unfortunately, the disk drive is pegged to the wall at 100%. So it's not showing if we're live or not. Still showing a blank. Oh, here we go. Still doing the loading of the page with the very fancy thing spinning around. Yeah, today is not happy. All right, we got that. We got that. Ooh, it looks like we are live now. It's, the page is still loading, but well, wow. The chat was in anticipation. Let's see. Yeah, it took about 2 minutes to get everything to work properly. Thanks for everyone who's coming. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we have 3 people in the chat. As soon as I figure out where to put said chat. All right, we'll put that there. Now the chat's reloading. So in the meantime, thank you for coming to the Thanksgiving edition of Happy Valley Hobbies. My name is Mr. Katie, and these are hobbies that make me happy. And it looks like in the chat we have James from Dundas Junction, Kyle Stevens, Randall Edelson, and I think those are the only 3 that are here. Well, thank you for coming. I did have plans. It's one of those things of things were up in the air, so I didn't know if I was going to be going live or not. It's one of those things of that looks like Mystic Railroad came in, so now we have 4 people. But my computer is not very happy right now, so I'm not quite things might not be as smooth as I would like. Actually, I was planning on seeing about possibly using something different today besides Zoom. Maybe check out OBS or StreamYard. But I didn't have my alarm on for to get ready and all that. So because I was the original plan was to one of my coworkers invited me, hey, you don't need to be alone, so hang out with her family. But apparently her mother has autoimmune, one of the auto, I don't know if it's autoimmune, but her her immune system's compromised, and since I recently had COVID, she's like, so I mean it's totally it's totally fine and all that. I mean the only reason why I went accepted the invitation because it was either, gee, do I see about trying to catch up with old friends and all that, or maybe make new ones. So I decided, well, we'll try making new ones, but that did not happen. StreamYard is free. That is correct, James. But I mean, that was sort of the possible idea to use StreamYard, but I might actually try it offline first, and then surprise everyone and go, hey, I'm live. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized something. Today's Thursday. That's why the alarm didn't go off. Never mind. Maybe I'll try StreamYard tomorrow. Ooh, original KO SD70CN. I would have to say, unfortunately, when it comes, well, I would say modern locomotives, but SDs, and it's not necessarily modern at this point, but it's one of those things of I'm not used to some of the newer terminology like the ACEs, the what is it, W8 dash, blah blah blah. It's like so I'm not quite on top of the newest stuff, especially since I'm right now modeling the 1876. So there is the SD40. That was also the thing is, when I first decided to pick my first era to pick on was Diller and Hudson in the transition era. So it's one of those things of not only was I not into EMD stuff or General Electric, I was more into Alcos. Oh, okay. So I got right now I'm using a laptop, because for the longest time I actually didn't have I didn't have anything that was hardwired, so I would go to a place that had Wi-Fi and use the laptop. Because of COVID, I decided to finally I live in Arlington, Vermont, where there's no free there's no Wi-Fi access. I mean, the town's pretty small. Well, hello, Derail Daryl. Thank you for coming in. But so that's why I decided to go on, hitting a live connection and going that direction. The funny thing about it is that when I originally started, the Xfinity, they said, it's like you had the choice of having someone come out, or you can do it yourself. Since I went to ITT Tech, and plus I played around with electronic, that's one of my other hobbies, which is sort of adjacent to model railroads. Eventually I'll want to, if I get to a point, I might have, get to a point where, excuse me, to, do electronics. And then also, one thing I need to actually go on, which is over here, I've bought a lathe because I want to do broad gauge, and they don't make broad gauge models, so I have to manufacture new axles and stuff like that with that. Yes, as playing with trains, that's what I usually, that's my first hobby, basically. Computers, electronics, machining, that sort of peels off. I do have a before moving to Vermont, I was bicycling a lot, but Vermont thing is most of the bike paths that I was bicycling on was more that was more like a bike path, in some cases former railway bed, former canal bed, or something along those lines. In Vermont, they're more used to having bicycles on the road, mainly because, well, there's not as many bike paths, and plus most of them are mountain bike paths. very close to me, from what I understand, is the Appalachian Trail, which is not set up for bikes. It's basically just for hiking. So I got a hybrid bike, what's called a hybrid bike, and I also have a road bike. Both are one's definitely not set up for off-road. The other one is, yeah, off-road. For the hybrid is sort of like grass, it's like a lawn or something like that. It's not necessarily for that one. Runs 100%, but there is ridicule anyone who doesn't. I look at it this way. When it comes to making model trains, especially for young people, I know when I was growing up, I didn't, I liked all the trains, especially steam engines. That was I think the only consistency that I had. But it's one of those things of sometimes it wasn't until I was in the service that I picked the Delaware and Hudson as an actual railroad. I would buy anything. And then Jim Shaughnessy's book on the Delaware and Hudson, that's sort of like, I bought it in a hobby shop out in Colorado, and it was covered in dust because, well, it's one of those things. It's out in Colorado. They don't care about the Northeastern railroads. And that's how I got into the Delaware and Hudson. And I was doing Delaware and Hudson transition period for a long time. In fact, I still have a lot of equipment that way. What had happened is that the Model Train Club I belonged to, they had it was set up where they turned around and they were having it was a slight contest on how big of a train we could have. They were all New York Central pacemaker cars. I've been poking at using a StreamYard. I haven't actually. Probably one thing I probably ought to do is turn around and go, okay, I need to actually try it out. Maybe actually go live with it as a test. But it's yeah, haven't actually. Right now, I'm sort of like reading the instructions and all that. So it's one of those things of you have to turn around and read up on stuff and do research on for it before hitting the play button. But that, and also had to probably after StreamYard look at Anthony Dodge's thing on OBS. Well, James, I'm assuming it's very easy, but there's times that I found out over the years, it's like, oh, things are completely easy, but then there might be this little nuisance of something that makes things go kablooey. One is having a fully happy computer, which is now actually I have Task Manager on this monitor, and it's no longer pegged at 100%. So I would looks like it's averaging. I want to lean towards now it's averaging around 40%, which is, that means everything's going to be working happy. But I have known with this computer, I can click on one thing and all that, and all of a sudden it just pegs to 100 and then doesn't work properly. Well, hello, Trackside Mike. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, thing is, I could push a button, and all of a sudden, if it winds up being pegged at 100% on the hard drive, I might wind up going like, all of a sudden everything freezes. But get back to work. But it's nice to know that people are here to say hi and all that. And I just happen to. The thing is, I happen to realize I just recently realized earlier on in this broadcast, is that, I have the wrong day, because I'm used to doing a live stream, hopefully at 2:30 on a day that I'm not, the day after I stop working, but completely forgetting that this was a short week. So that's why I'm here today. But right now, the plan is to, well, my original plan, which I didn't implement, was to actually try StreamYard a little bit. But that might be a tomorrow thing or later on tonight. I'm not quite sure. Plans what I had for today had sort of fell through, which so it fell through. Coworker, as I explained earlier, coworker of mine said, "Hey, it's like, no one should be alone on Thanksgiving." And I haven't contacted my sister today because she's supposed to be working today at Starbucks in Boston, about 3 hours away from here. So, and she's also working tomorrow at Black Friday. One of the disadvantages of working retail is that you have to work days that everyone else is off. And the interesting thing is that, my sister has always worked in office positions and all that. So working at Starbucks is their first. Well, all right, Randall. So I'll hopefully we'll be still on. I'm not actually, putting an end time at the this particular live stream. All right, Daryl or Daryl. Yeah, I would have to say Daryl is that I had forgotten what day this was. I didn't realize that it was a I'm used to doing a live stream after the work week. Well, today was this week was a short work week, and all of a sudden I'm here and going like, oh, wait a minute, that's tomorrow. But here I am, as you said, Daryl. But now that I'm not having to, also because it was also one of the things I didn't know. I'm so used to at the end of my stream, going right over to Anthony Dodge's that it's one of those things that, oh, wait, that means Anthony Dodge is not on after me. So I can go on for, no, I'm not doing a 24-hour shift. But things are the way they are. So let me transition over to, now we're down 20% on the disk. So that means things are going to be fine for a while. All right, switch cameras. Okay. Transition. Shake the camera. All right, move the camera a little bit so it's more on here. And basically, also had to move the microphone a little bit so it's pointing towards my second seating position. And basically we're going on to, keep on going, doing the tank car. And use a tank. These are the supports. One thing I'm happening to realize is I've had no problems with wood kits, and I've been having problems with this particular wood kit and I've come to the conclusion it's because the lack of humidity, because you put glue on it and it just wants to curl, which is fine when it comes to this, but for everything else, it's really annoying. And I believe that's because of all right. Yeah, it's one of those things of if you're driving, please don't chat. You know, want people pretty much want the people who are watching my silliness to stay alive. Now I curled that. And I threaded everything on this so everything would be relatively straight. I did the same thing with this one, but it's already off. I need to go and grab my sander. And of course, sander's slightly out of hand's reach. Not by much, but just enough to make it slightly annoying. And I haven't figured out a permanent place to put this yet. It's but let's see. All right, I'm not quite sure what the spitting is on, but I must have said something that required spitting. I'm trying to flatten at least one side. One thing I'm thinking about doing with these Congoino models, excuse me, is to write to Chris of maybe what a better set of instructions on some of his stuff. I would there's a lot of times that when you're doing everything all by yourself, sometimes sometimes details get away from you. Speaking of details, this does not seem to be completely on 90. I could be wrong. Let's see. Yeah, that's on 90. This doesn't feel like it's slightly on 90, but oh well. Ah, okay, gotcha. Well, I'm assuming your layout's off the wall. Unless you have a shelf layout, then it would probably definitely be on the wall. All right, let's bring this over here. Well, speaking of off the wall things, I was able to get to a small train show over last weekend, and it was mostly Lionel stuff, so there wasn't really much for anyone doing HO scale. But one thing I wound up doing, I think I picked up a mascot. It was something that one, it's narrow gauge, and two, it's also foreign power. But basically, it was my first foray in narrow gauge, and it's 3'6". It's a cute little locomotive. And it's one of those things of, it's unpowered, so it's not going to run. But it's a cute little mascot, I guess, for the channel, I guess. So at least an American type, but the description says it's a instead of 440, it's supposed to be a 282 tender engine. So this is obviously little toy is completely wrong on that. Surprisingly, it was imported by Tyco. Something I was not realizing, that Tyco did model trains more attached to the wall. Okay, gotcha. But since this is all straightened out, we'll clip that. But it's something that's small, cute, and adorable, and maybe make a decent mascot for the channel. Got that. These didn't come as straight as I want, but thing is, I do have a second one, so theoretically the second one would be better proportioned. I've actually turned around and I bought some boxcars also, and I've started those off screen, so I can turn around and see how well that does. All right, let's see. That should fit. Must have done something slightly wrong, because that's not fitting. But let's see now. Let's turn around and flatten this out. Because this actually overlaps a little bit. Because you don't want to go too far. You want to get rid of the lip, but you don't want to get rid of grooves in there. And this one's not it. I'm not sure, because it's the round piece or something like that. This one doesn't look like it might go together as nicely as the other ones that Congruino models that I put together. So, well, since my Thanksgiving plans are sort of kind of canceled, how is everyone else's plans currently right now? Their plans for massive turkey later on, especially for the people from America. It's one of those things of, oh wait, I have at least a couple of Canadians in here, which I guess had an earlier Thanksgiving. That one's going to take a while. Well, actually, that is a interesting question. Is how different is a Canadian Thanksgiving compared to an American one? I would have to say, because of COVID, I think I've become more internationally. What am I winding on? This is a sort of hashtag not sponsored Ultimation sander. It's made in Canada. I know his first name is Al, but I can't. Al Collins. He makes this. This is I bought the repeat. He calls the repeater and all that also. That's an accessory for this. And I believe he just recently did a chopper. Basically, what Al did was he didn't like when it came to this, he didn't like the kind of sanders that were available and all that, so he designed his own. And as you can see, because of how easy the handle can bounce around and all that, there's actually two very large ball bearings in here, which makes things very precise and also easy to use. There's actually two ways of using it. You got the handle here, which is pretty obvious, but what's not so obvious is that there's a piece of rubber that goes around here. So if you want to say do something that's like really, intricate, where it's like, oh, I just want to, hit it once and do it that way. I mean, I like it. It's not perfect. I mean, right now I'm having a slight challenge with this round piece because it's hitting this. But for 99% of the stuff that I've been doing on it, it's been pretty well. He just recently designed a chopper, which he just put into production. But all right, let's put that aside. Now to look at instructions again. Side that. And one of the things I'm going to suggest is that for the models, turn around and do it so pre-paint most of the stuff, because of it winds up being very the wood tends to curl. I had no problems during the summertime, but that's when things weren't dry. Now being wintertime, things are now very dry. All right, because I did that. Let's try pieces of horizontal pairs. All right, got that. All right, here we are. I had it upside down. That's why it was that way. All right, restraint rods. Okay, took the pilot model, so back to back, so you can just separate them. So you choose. All right. So now what we're in the process of doing is putting these on, which apparently on the pilot model. Oh, okay. I think I see what happened. The cursor here is for the dowel itself, not for the sheathing that's on top of it. So we'll just have to fiddle it that way. All right. So it's not going to be precise. Yeah, it's a very cool sander. One of the things that I am still, I guess, struggling with is the placement of where the monitors are, because right now the monitors I have are that away. And I have a tendency to forget that they're over there. So there's a lot of times I'm not looking at the chat, which my apologies for, turning around and concentrating on putting glue on. All right. And the mascot, hold that. Okay. So clamp that there. All right. Trying to make sure everything's all nice and straight, or at least centered. That one. All right. That. Thinking once this winds up being dry, oh, okay. That's what sort of, on reading the instructions, apparently there was two ways of doing this. One was to do it where the curved sections were attached to this, and that's what the instructions say. So that's what I did. But apparently there's also a different variation where you take the two curved parts and they go in the center. All right. As I said, sometimes the instructions are slightly out of order. Well, happy Thanksgiving, dear Daryl. And thank you for coming. And same thing with Kyle, which apparently I missed him. As I said, unfortunately, having the monitor to the extreme right makes it hard to keep track of it at times. So I do apologize on that. Haven't gotten to, have not found a solution yet. So yeah, it's one of those things that's, do this after set 18. It's like, there's, unfortunately, the way Chris does it, that there's a lot of bouncing around. So here, all right. All right. Yeah, after building this, I'll throw a suggestion at Chris of that's how you probably should do it. There was one time I was instructed to do instruction manuals, and apparently my English isn't the greatest, but apparently it's good enough for instruction manuals. All right. Well, it's one of those things of work and other stuff do have a tendency to be a higher priority than me. I know. Oh, blanking out on his name, but there's one guy that when he shows up, he's always talking about his wife, and I'm assuming it. I'm assuming the wife is cuter than I am. That's my assumption. But I am so pleasantly surprised that people showed up. I was actually expecting no one to be showing up, so people showing up is a good thing. All right, I finally got that. So it's that way. Keep on having small little threads off of the side. All right, it's in the hole. We should be going through said hole. Why is it not going through the hole? There it is. It's finally through the hole. But I'm planning on doing the crisscross for the rods, which I guess are designed to keep everything together. Okay, I gotta crisscross it this way. What I'm going to do is crisscross everything, and once everything is tight, and super glue the pieces together, and then trim off the excess. Sort of similar to what I do with the other stuff I've done. I think I need to at least poke a drill through here. Yes, it's not quite straight, so there's one more detail to remember, I guess. All right, that's why they didn't quite fit right. Because the curved portions are actually slightly smaller. They're not the same size. All right, so that's good to know. That's slightly annoying, but not surprising because there's not that much. Because the way because of these, there's not as much of a purchase on that. So screw that out. All right. Well, thank you for coming, Trackside Mike. It's thank you. Yeah, thank everyone for coming. I wasn't expecting people to show up at all, but people have, so I'm happy about that. Even with my initial not working properly, but yeah, I might actually turn around and later on might poke at StreamYard, see how well that is. That's done. Let's see. Who else is still here? Well, according to this, it's only one, but there's been times that says there's only one person watching, but yet the chat's being very much alive, so that might be an incorrect number. Well, if it's a correct number, oh well. All right, well, since we only got one threaded, yeah, apparently I grabbed the first one that was relatively easy. Now we got glue back on this. Straighten that out. Get that in. And let's try this again. Let's see how this easy goes back in. All right. That goes in. Put this upside down. And then this one. And once I get everything glued, I'm planning on cutting the threads on the end. And these we get the nut bolt washers on the end. All right, Randall, thank you for coming back. I think everyone else had to wander off and do other stuff. But I was actually not really, because this is, well, at least an American holiday. I wasn't actually, wasn't even expecting anyone to show up. That's why when my computer decided to show me what the chat was, I was very pleasantly surprised. And that is not going through. That is stopping. Let's double check the drill. And the drill goes through there. So theoretically, there we go. This is somehow entangled. Now it's unentangled. And onto the last one on this side. Yeah, basically what I'm aiming for, not sure if I showed you this earlier, but the second one here. I would have to say there's some the instructions look right to begin with, but then when actually assembling it, the instructions now give the, well, I'd say it was very logically done, but when you're actually building it, then that's when you see the inconsistencies of the instructions. And putting the drill through it sort of cleared that out. So snip a fresh one on there. And thread it that way. I vaguely remember actually, I don't know what they're exactly called, but they're used for sewing needles, where had these two wires and a handle on it where you would put it through the needle, put it through the hole in the needle, throw the piece of wire in, pull it out, and you're done. I'm not quite sure what that was called. This is constantly, you can tell that, well, force being black on black is not the best thing to have, but it seems to be hitting a block. Not sure what block it's hitting, but it's hitting a block. Let's try it this way. A little spit on it. See if that straightens it out. And then try again. And it does not want to go. There's a nice sharp end. But not sure if you can see, but I'm pushing it in, and it's like almost hitting a block of something on the inside. There it goes. Yep. Go all the way through, go all the way through. There we go. Now let's tangle this. There's a nice cross. And now to do the other side. Well, hello there, Crooked River. Well, thank you for the happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I wasn't actually expecting a lot of people to show up, but my computer was acting up at the beginning. So when it finally behaved, there was 3 people on here, which surprised me. You know, already in the chat, chatting away. So it was a pleasant surprise. Got that. But the interest, the silly thing about going live stream today was I'm used to going live stream after a work week. And I work my normal work week is Monday through Thursday. I had completely forgotten that this is a shortened week. So that's why I'm on a day earlier, because I forgot that this is Thursday, not Friday. I am working on Conguino models. 24-foot wood tank car. Theoretically, that's what it's supposed to look like when it's done. I'm doing my best to follow said instructions. However, some of the instructions are, well, since you're supposed to be, making your own model and all that, it's basically the instructions are more suggestions than an actual, hey, put slot A and put part B, part A into slot B connected to part C, and so not exactly what that I'm used to. The interesting thing is, I think there's earlier stuff that Chris at Congo Mouse has made. The instructions were slightly better. I'm not sure why, or either that, or it was not as well. A lot of times the flat car the flat car part of it is pretty solid, because it's basically he's taken the 25-foot flat box car or flat car and just turned it into different things, like the tank car. He's also got the box car. He also made a caboose. But he does, put in a lot of instructions saying that they're not actual prototypes, but they are, they follow what a prototype would do. All right, trying to think of if do I have anything that small? No, it's not that small. Almost want like a wire or something to put in through here. Let's see. I have a feeling every time I put it through a hole, the ends, there we go. The end flares out and becomes not Not flat anymore. Yeah, for a while it said that there was only one person viewing, and I had a feeling that there was more than one person in there. I think I don't know how it figures out how many people are watching. I would think it would be a simple thing of, hey, if person's connected on it, they're watching. But I have found out that a lot of times I know how to program a single computer, but when it comes to networking stuff like that, I might not be as proficient, because things that are obvious with a single computer, it's not necessarily obvious with not as obvious in a network. Okay, it's in the hole, I believe. There we go. It's coming out. All right, now unwrap that. I actually have two of these tank car kits, but I'm probably going to do one live and leave the other do the other one off camera. Now, is this went solid, or is this still? No, still liquid. That's why I like these smaller ones, because of what could happen with them is especially with the larger bottles, they could turn around and actually dry out, and then you don't have and then you wind up having to throw the large thing out, large thing of super glue. But these little, not sure what they're called, these micro applicators, you can turn around, and if something does become solid, it's just only this small little 3 gram, 1/10 of an ounce setup. Let's grab this, flip it over, and because I don't use super glue. I mean, the bigger ones are great for people who use super glue a lot, but I don't use that much super glue. So mine usually dries out. Even some of the larger bottles, they have a tendency on my end to dry out before I get to use them all. So these little ones, in some cases, the same thing happens, where they dry out before I use them all, but there's a lot less that gets solidified, and they usually come in packs. So I turn around and buy a pack of them, and then one goes solid on me, then so be it. And I also notice that sometimes these actually have a lot more air in them than I really would like. So it looks like I still have 3 people. All right, now on to trimming everything. And the reason why I'm trimming these is because I'm planning on putting nut bolt washers on the ends. So we'll get the string out of the way so they can be put in. Now, normally I would, sort of cut this short because of Anthony Dodge's live stream, which is usually after mine. But I goofed on the day, and because I normally do a live stream after the work week, but completely forgetting that this work week was a short one. So that's why I'm here. One of the reasons why I'm here a little bit early. There was other plans I was supposed to go to, but they fell through. So, all right, cradle the tank. Tank has been cradled. All right. And that does that, which I've already done. This talks about the how to set up the trucks. Okay. And I think the rest of it is all little details, which I just happened to realize something. Talks about details, but doesn't show you how to put that on. Well, nut and bolts and all that, but it has left out, in my opinion, a slight important detail, but we shall trudge on. Now I've done already flat cars and box cars, being the 25 footers. Now he does have 36 footers also, but apparently my request for my request for the 25-foot boxcar gave him the ambition to turn around and to take the 36-foot kit and turn it into a 24, which he turned around and made the appropriate modifications, and he also changed the what the door was. So the door on the 36 he had is it might be a correct door, but it looks way out of proportion. Yeah, come to think of it, the door looks a little out of proportion on the 25-foot boxcar, but the boxcar itself is small, so that's why it's okay for it to be incorrect. And plus, I just haven't realized there's also some parts that are, or instructions that are missed. So the thing is, when you copy and paste things, sometimes you There's things that you should have copied. But from what I understand, he does have Chris does have a version 2 of this. So I can only hopefully assume that Chris has remodified, because instructions don't talk about this part, and that's an important part. So, that read through the instructions again to make sure I did miss it. All right, there's the any dinners. There's here. Okay, so let's see. That goes to decking. There's for the end pieces. Do the holes. Strip wood, angle bolsters, thick thin, small gap, decking, dowel. Yeah, there is no mention of the queen post. That's an important detail, because you can actually see where the small little laser things of where it's supposed to go. Okay, so slather glue on this top. Yeah, it mentions the queen post on 20, but it doesn't say where it goes. So, all right, more threading. You missed everything that you missed. Well, welcome back, Kyle. Well, I'm still well, I wound up threading this, putting C glue on it. Now I'm threading this. Threading seems to be a little bit more of a challenge than I originally anticipated on the tank. But since I've built the flat cars before, the flat car should be relatively easier. Let's trim that. Okay, well, but I'd have to say this kit definitely has a lot more thread than his Chris's other offerings, which makes sense because there's a lot more bracing. Uh, ooh, this is not a good sign. Put that away around. All right, there we are. Got everything in the right position. That goes there, that goes there. All right. Now do it 3 more times in opposite directions. That's the next piece. All right. All right. Let's try this again. And it's going to be, seems that threading these are a little bit on the hard side because the holes are right lined up with the main frame. So trying to get them in there from this direction is a little bit of a challenge. Okay. I think I went through it. There it is. Oh, no, I didn't do what I think I just did. Yes, I did. Oh, no, I did. Never mind. I thought I had crossed the streams. I did not. Well, thank you for coming, Artie. Canadian was in here earlier. Now we have Australia. Now we need England. I honestly don't know if I have anyone from England that's normally on watching this. I'm trying to think who it was, but there was one stream I was on. They were mentioning. I think it was Anthony Dodge, because it sounds like something that would be on would have been in one of his discussions. So I think usually the viewing habits of Germans is that they like watching things already built, and everyone in England seems to like watching people build things. So it is sort of an interesting thought process of people wanting to watch things that are already built and running, and other people like people watching people build or restore things. I know there's a lot of things that I female Asian waitress. Well, the funny thing is I do work at a place that makes mattresses, but they use the sewing machines they use are more industrial and automated. So a lot of times is based on the machines doing all the work. Once you thread the needle, you can do an 8-hour shift or more. Because the interesting thing is that what I've seen, the difference between handcrafted and machine made is that the machine made stuff is definitely definitely different. I just happened to realize that I might have put these screws through the wrong holes, because the holes are in the bolsters, not on the ends. Oh well. Just wondering why it was looking slightly wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Finger is that it's in the wrong spot. Wrong set of holes. Well, good thing was before everything was super glued in, which I was getting very close to that point. Now these should be relatively easier because I'm not going through pieces of wood. Yeah, these are growing much nicer. And the holes are larger. And of course, as soon as I say that, it doesn't want to go through. And I don't have a piece of wire to poke stuff out. All right, let's wiggle it around. Ooh, there it goes. Yeah, I would have to say, yeah, it seems that model work or mass production model work does seem to employ a lot of women. Not sure why, but there's I have to say within a 20 minutes from my place, there's apparently a very high-end doll company. There's a mention of one of the discords of being an expensive hobby. Well, apparently Craftsman dolls are sort of kind of on the same thing. I think they were R.J. Wright. I guess I know the last name was Wright. There's a couple of initials which I'm not quite comfortable on saying what they are, but their cheapest doll is $600, and of course you can get all the you can add accessories and pretty much do what we do with model trains, but just think they're doing it with soft dolls. They would make the houses and everything else that you would expect that we do in this hobby. But I don't think they do much weathering because it's more of a ideal fantasy of how things should be with dolls, it looks like. There is actually a doll museum that's nearby. They talk about stuff and all that, but I'm not sure if I don't know if it survived the pandemic or not, because the woman that was doing it was older. So I do not know if it wound up surviving COVID. I almost want to say the woman seemed to be in her 80s. It seems that this is not getting past the other half. Let's try it the other way. It's the wrong way. If we can get at least through. And tie a knot on it and bring it through that way. But it looks like a no-go. All right, let's see. And we go through that. Well, pin vise is not going to go through it. Let's see if the drill by itself can. Maybe. All right, there we go. Now that that's popped through, we should be able to get the string through there. We have the string nice and straight. Or thread. There we go. That's one, I think, probably one of the challenging portions of the hobby is all that, how much small detail do you want to put in? Interesting. All right, there we go. Looks like we're going a little bit faster now. But then again, looks can be deceiving. Let's see, how well is the other side? Is it better or is it worse? Well, I know one smart thing that I did yesterday was to make sure that the gas tank was filled. Because, it's one of those national holidays where pretty much almost everything closes down and includes essential stuff like fuel and food. Food places, I think, usually close around 4, I think. But then again, I usually try to have everything ready to rock and roll beforehand. So you might have to drill again. And I wound up earlier today watching Luke Townsend do I guess he did an elevator in HO scale. Which was sort of kind of interesting. Apparently it's only one way though. Can only go up. I guess there has to be a complete redesign if you want to go down. All right. Let's click this again. It seems I only get one or two threading holes with a fresh clipping. Especially if it's a one where things don't go as smoothly as hoping. There we go. I got two more to go. Two more to go. Turn around and super glue the things. Yeah, that one didn't actually, it lasted one hole precisely. All right, that's in. It's not going. Let's see how well I can get the drill bit to go through there. That was a slight challenge with the inside ones. Let's see how well the outside one's going to go. And of course, I dropped said drill bit. Now the question is, where did said drill bit go? Ah. Good thing. Good thing drill bits are shiny. So much easier to find with a light. All right. Well, the thing is, you're planning on muting a phone call. Thing is, we don't hear it. That might be the next new thing is, having the chats actually have voice to it. But I don't think that would be YouTube, though. I'm not sure if Twitch has something along those lines. Would not be surprised, because each platform is trying to outdo the next. All right, let's see. Got that 1, 2, 3. And try that one. I'm trying to think if that's how. Well, I mean, you got YouTube Shorts, which is a clear copy of TikTok. I think live streaming is I believe that's a copy of Twitch. Which I did not realize that for it was only a couple of months ago that I found that out. It's long after I was, sort of kind of online or broadcasting. Let's see if I can do this again without dropping the drill bit. It looks like the red wound up flaring out again. Thought I had it nice and flat, and there's a little hair coming off it that you can barely see. Yeah, grab that. See if more glue on it makes it straighter, more useful. All right. So it's in the hole. Is it going to go through? Yes, it goes through. All right, we got one more hole to go. Will this be the easiest one? Yes, apparently is. I should have added glue to the end of the thread beforehand. Wouldn't have been fighting it so much. All right, let's turn around and go too far. All right, don't go too far, and slowly bring the wire or bring the thread out. So bring in the right spot, and then we'll add dots of super glue all over the place. Oops. All right. Super glue. Just had the little thing. There it is. It's hiding behind the tank. All right. Let's see. We'll add a dab there. First dab the B there. All right. Everything's super glued. Let that dry for a second. And let's see what we're going to do with this. Yeah, this is a early area. I mean, it looks early era to me. As this thing is the tank car is fictional but based on real world information, so someone did take a Chris Course from the owner of Congo William Miles, turned around and he didn't exactly make a copy of a prototype, but he took a lot of inspirations from prototypes. And since I'm modeling the US in 1876, it seemed to be an appropriate style car. I did buy 2 of them. However, I decided not to do both at the same time. And now it looks like there's the option. What dome do I want on it? Now the dome itself might not be prototypical, but I would assume the smaller one would go onto a smaller car. Now I think these are designed to go on their the Tichy tank car. I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. There's a parting line here that needs to go away. Clean that up, and I think it's probably a good idea to clip that off in the center there. Or maybe you twist it off, or there it goes. That snaps off. Now this should fit on there better. Yeah. It's probably also going to be super glue because white glue and wood glue is not gonna work on that. So add this one. Looks like it might be towards its end of its life. There we go. Way too much, of course. All right, let's see now. Let's put light coating on that. Nice spot where it won't glue this stuff. And then we'll take this. Center that. And press on that. And I think that's that. Close this up. Yeah, the smaller dome definitely looks more appropriate than the larger one. One thing that Chris does is that he buys the whole set and all that, so you wind up with extra parts for other things, which can be a good thing. All right, that would work. Well, happy Thanksgiving, Anthony. Just happened to be looking on it. The thing is, I got my days mixed up because I'm usually doing my live stream the day after the day after the work week, and completely forgot that this is a short work week. So that's why I'm on now. and basically going along and finishing what I'm, finishing up the tank car. I might get to a point soon. Or once I get this clipped and all that, I think I'm almost done with this car. There's that. And let's see if I can do the same thing on this side. And I did. I believe pretty much all's left. Well, that and the brake, adding the brake on it and the wheels and etc. But that's, I can probably get that done off screen. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. That is not sitting flat. This needs to sit flat. So grab the sander again. And making sure it's all flat. It still wobbles. Yeah. Well, this might wind up being a maintenance away tank car. But that's going to be close enough. All right, lost some of my strapping that way. Just have to re-glue it back. What's a work week? Hmm. And we're, oops, not going to get tagged by the super glue. We'll frame that there. Grab this. Frame that there. Okay. Now, every time I close up the super glue, I'm like, good, I'm done with it. And then it's like, ah, crap, I need it again. So this might be the last time I'm using it. All right, move this out of the way. Knock this off with the brake gear. Over there. And we'll dip this into here. Yeah, I just happened to realize I'm gonna need another thing of super glue because all the nut and bolt washer castings. Of course, couldn't get any enough on, and then all of a sudden now there's too much. Do my best to get that all nice and straight. The best of my abilities. Because this is where brake, this is a brake platform. And that should go that way. And this go this way. And we'll put this on. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's not going to fit perfectly on there. We have a lot of glue on there to sort of take up the gaps. All right. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a maintenance away vehicle. But, well, I would say, except for all the small little details on it, you know, trucks and couplers and other important details like that. But once it's dry, yeah, I would on say we pretty much, or I pretty much got this together. Just gotta throw on the trucks, couplers, the nut and bolt washers, and the brake wheel. And that's I'm gonna do off camera. And also for those who haven't seen it at the beginning, went to a train show last week and I picked up a mascot for the channel. Surprisingly, it was imported by Tyco from, oh, I can't think of the name of the company over in Japan. But this is a narrow gauge locomotive because standard gauge for Japan was 3'6", if I remember correctly. So the quote standard gauge bullet train is actually broad gauge for Japan. and it's unpowered and all that, but it's a cute little engine anyway. So picked it up for only $8. So not sure what I'm going to be doing with the mascot, but it's one of those things. If I thought it was cute, decided to buy it. So, all right. Thank you for coming, Anthony. So yes, I was planning on being sociable today, but plans fell through, and so here I am. So I guess that's it for me also. I think there's now that I'm practically done with it, up next I do have a second car that I'm probably going to do off screen or off camera, but I also do have what's called a bobber caboose that is also a Congoino model. But actually in the process of building said car off screen. So I'm planning on doing one on the channel, but seeing that I had some issues with the instructions on the tank car, I'm going to do at least one of these ahead of time so I can, rewrite the rewrite the instructions the way I would go with them. But it's basically it's based on the 25-foot boxcar that Congoino Miles has put out, except that instead of using two trucks, it uses a let's see if I can find it now, a Lebel. Yeah, here it is. A Lebel bobber caboose truck. Basically, I'm assuming I'm going to have to flatten this out and etc. and all that. I'm going to build this one as is and probably do the same thing with the one that broadcast. But I might do another one where I would modify it. Thing is that these trucks have toolboxes underneath them, which is fine for the caboose. Not so much with the four-wheel boxcar. So that's one of the modifications I'll probably wind up doing, is to make it so it's more what one would look like, because I don't know about you, but to me it looks weird with the toolboxes underneath the boxcar. But it's the only truck that's available that's four-wheeled, so I understand why you went that direction. But as you can see, it's a pretty small car. Let's see. Do not think it's based off the 25-footer, but I don't think it's 25 foot. No, it's 21 foot, 21 and a half. So it's actually a little bit smaller than the 25-footer, but it's cute, it's adorable, and that's what the next project is going to be. And I'm not sure why, but my throat is awful sore. So since I'm done with that, I guess I'll start closing down the stream, switching cameras, and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Go up here, go back to this camera. And of course, now things are crawling to a halt because now everything is now the hard disk is at 100%. But I think this is probably one of the more longer streams that I've done. But I really appreciate everyone that has shown up. Thank you very much. It's wound up making a, a lonely day less lonely, because I was planning on going to an actual, somebody invited me to their house, but somebody has a compromised immune system and was like, oh my God, they had COVID. And so, oh well. So, but I'm very thankful for everyone for coming that did come. So go have your need more bourbon to lubricate the throat. That's a possibility, but I don't have bourbon. Actually, I don't have any alcohol now because I don't usually drink. And right about now it's 4:52, so I'm going to assume that all the grocery stores are closed. But I could be wrong. There is a convenience store that's down a good football throw away that might be open. I doubt it. Went there last night to fill up my car because I didn't, getting near E. It's like, yeah, it's probably a good idea to turn around and go that direction. So, well, everyone, anyone who I really appreciate people who actually showed up. I was surprised. And then, the thing is, everything's maxed out at 100, so I'm not sure if something went drastically wrong. But if it didn't, I believe the world needs a better, needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it all over the place. And for everyone in America, happy Thanksgiving.